I know what you guys are thinking. Where the heck did I get this awesome file for this Casey Jones Ninja Mutant Ninja Turtles mask? Well, it was Marco over at Mystermakers. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go through the process with how I did this with you guys because I want to share how easy it is to make something this high quality and awesome with just a few simple tricks and a few easy things. So, let's get into it. So obviously we printed this out. This is just a standard PLA, and while we were doing it, it actually started out as yellow, and you'll kind of see that with a lot of the other footage that we're going through. But this was printed on the Ender 5 Max, which is an awesome printer. I can't say enough about it. It is going to be really cool to do some more full-size stuff over from Marco's Patreon and things like that, especially like full-size helmet. It has a big build plate, and I can't say enough about it. Creality doesn't pay me for that at all. It's just a really good printer. I can't recommend it enough. But yeah, we went ahead and printed this out on the Ender 5 Max, and the reason I use that also kind of as another side note is because I was able to make like 12 of these at one time, which was just a really cool, fun thing. But it got done. It looked like this on the inside. Sorry, I don't have the B-roll footage. It just didn't work out that well. There's actually two parts that got corrupted, so that's too bad. But the way that I got this as smooth as I did here to get this really nice shine and feel on it was a resin trick that I've showed you guys in a previous video. I didn't end up recording that, but basically what you do is you just take some really standard UV resin. This one's from Anycubic. It's clear. You mix it with some baby powder. You paint it on there, and then you use a black UV light to cure it on the print instantly. I do about 3 coats to give it a nice good layer. The reason I do that is because it fills in the layer lines and gives me a really good sandable surface, which is what I'll show you now. So as you can see here, we went ahead and we did sanding on it. I did a sanding block. This was a fine sanding block sponge. The reason I like using those a lot is because they can kind of conform to the curvatures of the piece really well, but also when using the resin method, it cuts through it really quickly and it gives you a really nice surface to be able to get in with your hands for the detailed wet sanding and other things like that. Now, guys, a really word of caution, I was not wearing a face mask during that, and I am sanding resin. So please do all of the safety precautions that you feel like you need to do for yourself. I should have been wearing a mask. I'm sorry that I wasn't, but we're going to have to move on. So with the wet sanding, I started all the way up at 220. The reason is I just wanted to make sure I got any of the really high, tough spots, and I did that very quickly. And then I quickly moved on to 400 and 600 grit sandpaper, and I was able to get a feel that I really, really liked. Now, after that, it became really smooth, and then I was able to go ahead and put primer on it. Now, the primer that I'm using is this 2-in-1 sandable, but it was at Walmart and it was easy to use. And it's really nice when you use the primer because then you can see the high and low spots of exactly where you need to go back and sand through. I felt like I could get a little bit of the sanding done, so I did that, and then we moved on to the base white coat. There's really nothing special about this white coat. It's just a Rust-Oleum 2x cover. And as you can see here, we're just putting it on there. We're gonna let it dry, put another few coats on there, and then we're gonna move on to the detailing. Now, the detailing is really cool because basically what I'm gonna do is use an airbrush filled with black paint, and I'm gonna highlight all of the lines in a light kind of accent to be able to kind of pop everything out, give the mask some depth, and really show it in there. Now, I am going to go a little bit around the eye holes and around the mouth holes, but I'm going to do that a little bit later, and you'll see why later in the video when I add the mesh. After all of the detailing is done, now is a really cool trick. Now, guys, before I show you this trick, this is very important that if you're going to try this, make sure you're doing this in a properly vented area. You won't be able to see it, but my garage door is completely open. It was actually a nice windy day. Please do not do this if you don't feel confident in it because it can go wrong very quickly. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a red Solo cup and I'm going to chop it up into some small parts. I'm going to take a lighter, and as you can see here, I'm going to light the Solo cup. And once it's lit, then I'm able to use this black smoke that's coming off and use it on the helmet. And that black smoke will actually stick to the helmet, even if it was dry or if it was wet paint, but obviously this is dry paint, and it sticks to it and then gives us this really cool effect, like it's burned and charred and a little bit weathered. What's cool about that is I messed up a little spot where in his mouth hole, I kind of oversprayed a little bit too much, but now because of the char, it kind of looks like part of it, like a splatter, almost like he was on the receiving end of like an explosion, which is really, really cool. And then we're gonna be able to take this back downstairs and we're gonna finish adding the mesh and the paint for the mesh. Now, when I do the mesh for these, I buy a giant roll. It's like 5.5 feet of PC cooling mesh. The reason I do that is because, as you can see here, you can still see through it in a reasonable way, but it's also really easy to cut. You don't have to worry about messing with layer lines with printers and things like that. Now, the Marco has a really good mesh print that you can do for this. It is fantastic. It looks really good. I just really prefer this method, but I use it for all of my helmets that need eye holes because, again, it's just easy to do. It's like $5 on Amazon. I'll have the link in the description, but it is a really cool trick. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna glue that in, and I rough cut these and then I cut them a little bit better. But we're just gonna use the hot glue. We're gonna cut it in. I round off the edges a little bit just because people are gonna wear this. I don't want them to get poked in the eye or anything. And then after we get the glue set in with the mesh, that's when we're gonna come back in with the airbrush and paint it all black. And this is why I didn't have to worry about the eye hole accents too much, because now I can kind of get a little bit of that overspray and kind of blend it all in together. And guys, after that, it is all done. This is that finished product. I love it. What's really cool is there's these slits here so you can add your own headbands. I like to just use elastic. I'm just gonna put some on these two here so that when I wear it, it'll be perfect. Now, what's really cool about this is, yes, this was a model from about a month or two ago, but if you guys sign up for Mystermakers, he has a year option where you can get his entire catalog when you pay for 1 year. Guys, I can't give enough of credit to Marco over at Mystermakers. He makes some high quality stuff. I am really grateful that I get to do this. I get to make these and then show these tutorials on how to do with you guys. And what's really cool is if you look right over here, I got a new resin printer, and that is the Anycubic Mono 7 Max. They're not paying me for this at all, but what's really cool about this is I'm gonna be able to make full-size visors. So be on the lookout for some really cool projects from me and from Marco's Patreon. Make sure you guys sign up, get this Patreon. It is worth every penny. It is some of the best high quality cosplay stuff. He does props. He doesn't just do helmets and masks, but he does props as well and some other really cool things. You guys have seen my Green Lantern video and my Captain America Hydra Rivals video. That's just a taste of some of the amazing things that you're going to get over from Marco at Mystermakers Patreon. So guys, if you love content like this, you want to keep watching me make awesome cosplay stuff, especially stuff from Mystermakers, give me a like, give me a follow. I'm basically Bensky, and mistakes make magic, baby.